Board of Appeals to order at 6:32. Roll call. Would each one of you that are present just please state your name? Gary Ragsdale.
And I'm in Atlas Township tonight.
Debbie Honay, I'm in Grand Blanc Township.
Paul White, I'm in Wayne Township.
Okay, was that it?
I think so.
Okay. And Mr. Laddie, the township attorney, is present. Ron, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to this flag
flag
of the United States of America,
of America,
To the republic
for which it
and
one
one
nation
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible.
liberty,
And-
and justice for all.
Thank
That's
you.
always a difficult challenge.
Next item is approval of the minutes of February 16th, 2021. Debbie, did you have any comments or do you want to make a motion?
Nope, they look good. I would make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll support. Ron Eaton supports.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
Moved and supported. Just disappeared here. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. For some reason I went offline, so let me get started up here again. Okay, everybody can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and next item is approve of agenda. Do we have a motion and support or any changes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There's no communication, so we'll go right to unfinished business. Item V20. Is this burlap? Is it 01? Oh, yeah. Dimension variance accessory fence. Table from the February 16th meeting, represented by Julie Dixon of 5461 Boland Road, Grand Blanc, and it's regarding the same address, 5461 Boland Drive. Purpose of the hearing is to receive comments from the public to consider a dimensional variance request from section 5.3 fences. An applicant has erected a privacy fence in the secondary front yard, and this residence is on a corner lot. Mr. Laddie, do you have any comments?
Remind everybody that we were here a month ago, and Ms. Dixon additional information for us to consider, and so that adjournment was to allow us some time to consider. And we had this matter initially back in November, and I know, for example, Mr. White probably wasn't here because it was November 12th. He came on board in November 20th, I think. So just property located at 5461 Boland Drive, at the corner of Boland and Jerome Street, zone R3 single family residential. The lot size is approximately a half acre, contains a single family residence with a accessory structure, which is a shed, and the accessory structure is in the rear yard of the property. The variance requested has to do with a 6 foot tall privacy fence that was constructed. And I think the applicant may remind us, but I think that there was some confusion by contractors or representation by contractors that a permit wasn't required when in fact it is. And then I think code enforcement discovered that a permit wasn't pulled, and so they started the case, which eventually led us to November, which eventually led us here tonight. And you will recall, because we've dealt with a fence issue actually as recently as last month as well, that if you're on a corner lot, that you can't have a you can't have a privacy fence that encroaches into what we consider to be the secondary side yard. In other words, This street, it primarily fronts on Boland Drive, but the side of it faces Jerome. And the problem is that the fence is actually not flush with the, I think it's northern wall as it faces Boland Street. And so even if you can't have a 6 foot tall privacy fence that encroaches there unless you have, it has to be out of the right of way for sure. And in this particular case, we don't have that. We have a 6 foot tall stockade fence that encroaches into the setback and probably also isn't 50 feet from the center of Jerome. And so, Mr. Chair, hopefully I wasn't too scattered when I explained that, but again, it's the very same requirements that we had at our last meeting last month. And so if the board doesn't have any questions, I know Ms. Dixon, Mr. Beller said she's on, and so I think she can give you a historical background, and then we can go through the ordinance requirements as you wish following the public hearing.
Okay. Mrs. Dixon, are you on?
Yes.
Do you have any comments? And then we'll call the public hearing to order.
Well, last month when I sent in the additional information, I also sent in a new drawing that showed that our house actually sits 75 feet from the center line of the road. And I also sent in pictures and to show that the fence was not in the right of way, blocking view. I also sent an attachment that showed quite a number of other corner lot homes that have had existing fences like ours in Grand Blanc Township. And then as well as the one kitty corner behind us that had been approved in August, which we've been looking at that fence out our slider door for the last 7 years, which unbeknownst to us, the previous owners did not acquire a permit either. So I am requesting a variance, and if it is not granted, then I also sent Mr. Laddie several different options of non-site obscuring fences, which hopefully he forwarded to you guys in its place.
Just let's be clear about that. Ms. Dixon, you attempted to forward me some photographs in an email.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you also, did I indicate to you that you should submit any documents that you want the ZBA to see, submit them through the Planning and Zoning Department?
Submit them through Maria,
Correct.
yeah. Maria was not in the office today. So, and I think that I don't know if she's not getting my emails. I've tried calling multiple times. It goes straight to voicemail. I don't know if she's not getting my voicemails. I'm not sure what the issue is on that.
And just so clarification's sake, those photographs, are they photographs that you took or are they examples out of?
They're examples. Just I Googled non-site obscuring fences, and those were examples that Google showed me. So
Okay. I want to let you go ahead with your presentation, but I want to refer you to the Zoning Board of Appeals to section 2 of 5.3 that describes what a non-site obscuring fence is.
Mm.
And it's the first example is a post and rail. The second is a split rail. The C is a picket, and then D is a wrought iron. And so those are actually, and then E says other types of ornamental fences must be approved by the Grand Lake Township Planning Commission for placement in front yard area. So let's put that E aside for the moment,
okay.
and then back to that section if we need to. But go ahead and continue with the information you want to give to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I mean, I think that's it. I mean, I provided the information last month, and I, was requesting the variance, Again, there's a number of homes in Grand Blanc Township where, the homes have been up for, one of them was, they purchased their home in 2002, and so I guess for me, just logically, I'm not understanding how, these other homes in the township have been allowed to keep theirs up, their fences are very much like ours on corner lots, extending from the front yard to the secondary front yard. So logically, I'm just, I just am not understanding, why I wouldn't be allowed to keep mine up when they have been allowed to keep theirs up. I honestly, I don't know what else to say. I'm, this has been a very sore subject. So I'm just ready for it to be over, no matter what the decision is tonight.
Okay, thank you. Does any of the board members have any comments?
Yes, Mr. Ragsdale. Part of the additional information we received, it looks like, is from All American Fence. Can the petitioner explain what we're looking at? There's a cost of $4,400. I'm not sure if that's looks like removing the old fence and putting in a new one.
Correct.
And is that would be putting it in a location that is pre-approved?
It would be flush up against the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you
No.
did this, that would comply because I see that it's a 6-foot high fence.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the last, back in November, when we first looked at this, we talked about maybe modifying the existing fence, maybe lowering the fence, moving the privacy fence so it would be in accordance. So by looking at all those alternatives, then you were able to get a price to remove the existing and to put up a new fence that would comply with the ordinance.
Correct.
Okay.
If I may add, if it's okay, we just don't have that kind of money right now. So we have just said we will just have to do the work ourselves, so whether it's, lowering, the existing to 4 feet, and then if we end up choosing to put up a new, privacy flush up against the house, then that'll just have to be down the road sometime.
Okay.
Any other board members have questions? Okay, I'll go ahead and call the public hearing to order. If there's anyone wishing to address the V20-010 dimension variance, is there anyone wishing to address the board?
Yes, we got Lindsay Pickrell. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you can state your comment.
Yeah, I just had commented that I'm in support of Julie's fence. I live in the neighborhood. I've seen several houses like it. Regardless of the fact whether or not you guys keep mine, I support hers. It looks good. It doesn't obscure any sight. I don't see any safety issues with it. I think the township like fences to be up in the township, and I think rather than saying that Julie can't keep her fence, I think it's time that the township looks at that actual ordinance and requirement, and whether or not it even really makes sense to what is reflected in fences and properties out in the community.
Thank you. Do you have any other comments?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone else wishing to address the board?
Yes, Mr. The applicant did reach out to me via email, and I did explain to the applicant that when reviewing the application that I'm still looking at, that she does have to meet all of the criteria put forth to approve this. I just haven't seen, I don't think the applicant was aware of that either, that she had to meet all the criteria. So, you know, we can't base this on a people issue. We can't base it on the fact that other people, you know, totally just have the same exact situation. It's still got to meet all the criteria, and I did explain that to the applicant.
Thank you. Anyone else have a comment?
Mr. Ragsdale, did you, I'm taking minutes here. Did you close public comment?
No, I haven't. I'm just waiting to see if there's
Okay.
anyone else.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if there's no one else, wish to make comments during public hearing, we'll close the public hearing and any comments. Did you have comments, Mrs. Honay?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Laddie?
Nothing. If anyone has a question, I'll be happy to try to answer.
Do we know if the building department has whatever design that she's wanting to put up, that they've taken a look at it and approved it?
We don't know that, but let's talk about that for a second. So, but again, I read you the language in the ordinance that describes what a non-site obscuring fence would be. And by the way, so if she wanted to have in her side yard setback, it would have to be out of the road right away. Okay, and Ms. Dixon has said that basically she said that she's 75 feet from the center line of Jerome Avenue. And so if hypothetically the right of way of Jerome from the center of Jerome is 50 feet, then she would have to be within that 50 feet. She would have to be something 50, plus. In that event, she's able to have a non-site obscuring fence that is 48 inches tall. And again, that ordinance section 5.3.2 describes examples: first post and rail, second split rail, third picket, fourth wrought iron. So we know that those are all defined in the ordinance. And then E is a bit of a confusing catch-all. It says other types of fences must be approved by the Grand Lake Planning Commission prior to placement. So it says in the front yard area. Okay, and then as we discussed, this is actually a secondary. This is a secondary front yard or a corner lot. And so again, she's limited to the 4 feet in height with non-obscuring, whatever that definition would be. And if the building department needed some explanation of what that was, and they could get, and they wanted to get the help of the planning commission, they probably could through the site plan review committee. But yeah, to answer your question, in the long route, the building department, with assistance of the planning commission, could look at variations of a non-site obscuring fence. Now, and she can do that as a matter of right. She doesn't need a variance for that. And then if she wants to also make, and we had some discussion about that, if she wants to take that privacy fence and put it up flush against her, the portion of the house that faces Jerome, she's entitled to do that without a variance. So hopefully that I explained. Did I answer the question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, thank you. Does the board members have any other questions? Mr. Laddie, should Ms. Dixon then, I know it's difficult now because we're still under restrictions and there's not a lot of access to the township buildings. So I don't, maybe we get somebody's advice on how Mrs. Dixon could make contact with the township building, or because I know I couldn't reach Maria today either. So she didn't return calls. I'm just assuming she wasn't in, but do we need to see? Do we need? I know if she goes to some of those suggestions, she won't need a variance.
Correct.
So I guess maybe advice or from board members, should we just table this part until the next meeting, and she and then in turn can get with the township board or with the township office? If
Well, Mr. Chair, except that if she is entitled to move, if you don't grant her requested relief to allow her to have that stockade fence, inner side yard setback, she can carry on without you, right? She can go
Okay.
directly to the department, and we can facilitate that if that's the decision you make. So there isn't, I don't think there's any need for you to consider what various non-site obscuring fences are, right? Because you don't have any input into it anyway. It's either
Right.
defined or the planning commission's gonna shed some insight. So I don't think you need to do that necessarily.
Okay, so maybe advice from the board members too. If we deny the variance, that closes us out, and then Mrs. Dixon can make her application or talk to someone at the township hall and file an appropriate design.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know exactly what Ms. Brown's schedule is, but I know that we've just announced that we've got a planner that was hired, and so things will certainly improve in the communication department. But even for Ms. Dixon's purposes, I'm happy to facilitate. I can't be the receiver, as I explained. I can't be the receiver of documentation. I can facilitate communication between the building department and Ms. Dixon if she's having trouble doing it. I'm happy to do that. In any event.
Okay, then as far as the application here, I guess her option is to deny the variance, and then she can move forward with the township.
Well, you can grant it, or you can deny it, or you can grant different relief. You don't have to. You can grant the relief in total, or you can grant partially. If you do deny it, though, then she has options she can consider.
Board members have any comments? If not, then do we have a motion regarding this issue?
Mr. Chair, I guess I would make a motion to deny case V 20-010 for the dimension variance. There really isn't justification, I guess, for meeting the 5 criteria that we are required to do. Practical difficulty, minimum variance, compliance with other laws is okay, but the other 5 is not. I guess I would just make the motion to deny, giving her the ability to proceed with the several different options.
Is there a
Hi,
support?
Ronnie. Ron Eaton will support the motion for the same exact reasons Ms. Honay did. There is no practical difficulty. Sorry, there is no unique situation here. It is self-created. Substantial justice alone can't serve the point for the approval of it. It would not meet the minimum variance necessary, and so for that reason, I'm going to support Ms. Honay's decision.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
All
could I?
those in favor?
Nope,
Yes.
Chair, could I
Yes.
just ask a couple
Sure.
of questions? Ms. Honay, as far as the practical difficulty goes, and we know what this is because we do this all the time, and sometimes applicants may have some trouble with this, but the ordinance defines a practical difficulty as a difficulty to the subject site, and it parentheses it says, by the way, this information is all on the zoning application that people have to submit, and Ms. Pickrell did submit an application and indicated on the application that she didn't identify a practical difficulty, but I want to talk directly to Ms. Honay. Usually you'll see sites that have topographical challenges. Maybe there's a drain or some sort of easement or some sort of utility or the shape of a lot or something that causes somebody who wants to put in an accessory structure or fence to say, hey, I would normally be entitled to do this, but I'm physically prevented because of some characteristic of the property from doing that. And so, zoning board of appeals, I need relief from the strict dimensional requirements of the ordinance because I can't meet your requirements the way that the property is situated. And we had a discussion about the fact that, and criteria number 2 is that it be a unique situation. And so if you have practical difficulty, it should be something that's not a characteristic of the neighborhood or the region. It should be something specific to your property. And it can't be self-created. And one of the things that we often struggle with is people come to us and they have very good practical reasons for doing what they want to do. They have kids, they want privacy, all kinds of normal, understandable things. But we've had discussions and we've learned and we've read treatises that talk about that those conditions aren't necessarily related to the property itself. They're related more to an individual owner's or occupier's situation that isn't, again, that wouldn't run with the land. And if you grant a variance, that variance has to run with the land. And the reason is because if you're going to solve a practical difficulty, that's going to remain a practical difficulty until something dramatic happens. Mr. Eaton made a good point, and Ms. Dixon, he recognized her point about substantial justice. And she said, hey, look, there are a bunch of these around my neighborhood. There are a bunch of them around Grand Lake Township. Why can't I do what other people have been able to do? And as we know, we need to look at these cases on a case-by-case basis and try to examine whether or not there's a specific practical difficulty for each particular case. And the other practical matter is that zoning ordinances change, circumstances change, zoning board of appeals change, and unfortunately that we are not operating, nor are we required to operate on a straight historical line, because the case is different. So it looks unfair to a layperson's eye, and maybe even our criteria that we have to meet doesn't make sense or doesn't seem fair. That's what we're bound to do. We're bound to enforce the terms of the ordinance. So, I mean, I'm sorry to be long-winded, but I felt like might appreciate, I guess, the thresholds that are fairly difficult for you to overcome if you don't have those 5 options that allow you to grant a variance.
Thank you. Board members have any other comments? No? Okay, all those in favor? My cat's trying to bite me behind here.
Can we do a roll call vote, and I'll call the
Sure.
roll.
Oh, yeah, would you call the roll?
So this is a motion to deny. So yes is to deny. Ms. Honea,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Eaton,
Yes.
and Mr. Ragsdale.
Yes.
All right, then the request for the variance is denied. Ms. Dixon, I will put you in touch with the folks in the building department to make sure that you get all your questions answered for your options. As we talked about, you do have some options. Make sure you understand them and make the best the choice is best for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Next, we on the agenda don't have any new business. No future business now. The next meeting schedule will be April 20th, 21. So I do have a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Hi, Ronald. Support.
And moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks all again.
Yep. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Thanks, David.
Mhm.